Hi, welcome to Redirect Yourself. I'm Donna, and if you are returning, welcome back. I'm so glad you're here. I'm really glad you found my channel today, and that means you want to talk about communication. All right, let's get started. I do sometimes reference in my videos, if this is your first time seeing me here, I reference other videos, so feel free to check those out later on at your leisure. They're not necessary to understand the current video, but they might be helpful. So in communication, what we're really talking about, right, is language. We have developed language for the purpose of getting people to understand us so that we can convey messages and understand each other. However, what I have noticed is that we're all running around in our hula hoops, previous video on that, right? Running around trying to be understood. That is why most of us enter into conversation, to be understood. The problem with that is this, that if we are all trying to be understood, then who is trying to understand? So that is today's tip, seeking to understand as a coping skill and communication skill. So that means that all of us, when we are engaging in communication, are wanting to be understood. The problem is we don't always actively seek to understand others. And this is a huge benefit, seeking to understand the other or others, because it can help with toxic people and difficult communication as well. So let's pretend, for the sake of my examples here, that a friend has asked you to come to their dinner party next week, Friday at 8. And unfortunately, you're not able to make it, and you tell them so because you've got a previous engagement. And the friend decides then to tell you that they may as well cancel the whole thing because if you can't make it, there's no point in having this dinner party. That is a time when you might want to seek to understand as opposed to getting upset, as opposed to canceling your previous plans to be at this friend's dinner party or any other type of thing. In that moment, if you decide to ask, hold on a second, I'm confused. It seems like you're wanting me to feel guilty about not being able to make your dinner party. But I really can't think of a reason why any friend would want me to feel guilty. Please explain. Well, that puts the onus on the difficult party having to explain their motives, their intentions, the understanding that they wanted you to have when they said those words. So if what they intended wasn't for you to feel guilty and change your mind, but instead was to express how important you are to them and how essential you are to a party's success, then that will give them that opportunity to say that, yeah? In which case, you now have a better understanding and you don't feel the need to change your plans simply because you feel guilty. And you wouldn't have felt guilty if they hadn't have said that. And now you know that the purpose of that was to let you know how valuable you are to them and how much they like you at their parties. You might want to then let them know, though, that they can go ahead and have the party without you. So that's one example. I call this seeking to understand. So if you keep this in your back pocket, anytime you have difficult communication with anyone, you can whip it out and use it. And at the very least, you will gain a better understanding of that person by asking these questions. Or they'll stop trying to manipulate you because they'll recognize that they don't have a valid or reasonable explanation for what they're saying. Here's my second example. Let's say you get a minor achievement at work and you've been recognized as a leader and you are asked to be the team leader on the next project. And you mentioned this to someone, anyone. It could be a coworker, it could be a friend, it doesn't really matter. You say something along the lines of, wow, I'm so excited. They have recognized me as a leader and I get to be the leader of the next project that I work on. And said person says to you, well, that's great. Look at what can happen when you actually apply yourself. Seems like maybe an insult. Most of us might react defensively or in some other way, take it personally, feel insulted, etc. Instead, I suggest that you seek to understand. So you might say something like, gee, that kind of has me wondering, Bob. Did you want to compliment me just now for my achievement and the recognition of my leadership skills? Or were you attempting to correct me or insult my work ethic in some way? I'm not really clear which one you were trying to do. Can you explain? Because if Bob really wanted to insult you, you've just put him on the spot about having to be very clear of what he thinks of your work ethic and his disapproval of your achievement, apparently. Or he will back up and say he misspoke. He didn't mean that after all. What he meant to say is congratulations. And that is how we seek to understand. I've chosen to use two examples here of situations where the person is being difficult, is attempting to manipulate in some way or insult or to be difficult. But it actually works in almost all situations. So let's say you ask a friend, hey, would you like to go to the movies? And they say, no, I'm busy. And then the next few times you ask them to go and do something with you, they're busy. And you are feeling like they are alienating you or excluding you, or that for some reason or other they don't want to hang out with you. You could say, hey, you know what? It seems like lately I've asked you a few times to get together, and I know you haven't been available. You've said you haven't been available, but I'm really just wondering if there's something going on that I could improve or do differently, because I miss your company, but I know that you haven't been able to meet with me, and I just want to make sure, is there anything else that I'm misunderstanding? That means if they are trying to be passive in the friendship and not tell you what you've done, not tell you what problem they have, not explain to you the reason why they don't want to hang out with you, then you have put them in a position of being able to air those grievances or discuss the problem that they have, which again, human beings want to be understood. It's the whole reason that we even developed language. So if someone is behaving or speaking to you in a way that isn't very clear and it seems either manipulative or controlling or evasive, then the best course of action is to seek to understand. Most folks want to explain themselves. So feel free to give me comments, suggestions on other videos. I hope you find this useful and helpful. Feel free to share that as well. If you try any of my video tactics out and you get a success story, please share it with us and the people in the comments, because I'm trying to make this channel grow so we can all become just a little happier. I hope you have a great day and that I'll see you again soon. Bye.